turntable with the Z06, but it all started in 1963 when the Z06 debuted as a track-oriented performance option for the Corvette. So if you wanted to go racing, you check that Z06 option because it also gave you a 36-gallon gas tank, because the more laps you could put in, the less pit stops, the more successful you'll be racing. But now we've changed it up. It's now become a brand unto itself, and this is the most powerful and fastest Z06 yet. Engine response is a top priority, and that's why we decided to go with the naturally aspirated power plant with the goal of exceeding the power of the previous generation supercharged LT4. The result is this new LT6 5.5 liter V8. It is the most powerful naturally aspirated production V8 ever. Now it has the hand-built engine, features a flat plane crankshaft, dual overhead cam valve train, and racing dry sump oil system, enabling the engine to operate at the high RPMs needed to make 670 horsepower. But it's not just horsepower. It complements the Z06's track-focused experience with an 8,600 RPM redline and meticulously tuned intake and exhaust systems. Now the Z06 takes direction from Corvette racing. The race car and the Z06 share the same chassis. They have similar engines and similar exterior proportions, so the performance gap is smaller than ever. 0 to 60 goes by in 2.6 seconds. We excel or run the quarter mile in 10.6 seconds at 131 miles an hour. Our body was wide in 3.6 inches to accommodate larger rubber for more grip. You'll find larger vents on the side and a new front fascia, and that's to help channel more clean air to provide improved cooling to the engine, brakes, and transaxle, so you get sustained track performance lap after lap, even when you're running the air conditioner on a hot day. The brakes have been upsized for better stopping capability. Now these are the optional carbon ceramics, but even the stock Z06 brakes are 6-piston caliper monoblocks in the front, 4 in the rear, and then you have 14.6-inch steel rotors as opposed to the 15.7 carbon ceramics you see here. This guy's checking out that back end. You may notice we have a quad center exhaust. It took our engineers 2 years to kind of get to the point where we were happy with that exhaust note, because a flat plane crank V8 sounds very different than what we traditionally have made thus far. So we spent 2 years, and if you notice really carefully, those bezels are floating, so they are not attached to the exhaust pipes. We're using those bezels to help reflect some of that sound forward toward the cabin. So when you're on the racetrack, even with your helmet on, you can have that exhaust note come into the cabin without relying on speakers or radios or anything like that, which is really good because we want to kind of keep it natural. If you came into the display through the front, you may have noticed we have a Z06 convertible, the orange one. That has the Z07 performance package on it. That's why it has the big wing, has a bunch of other aero bits like the dive planes in the corner. What you didn't see is underneath kind of this area of the vehicle on the bottom, we have a pair of strakes, and that's all for downforce. The idea is, if we're making more downforce in the back, we have to make it balanced. So we need more downforce in the middle and the front. That way we're not just like popping wheelies and getting light steering on a fast straightaway. And that's good for over 700 pounds of downforce. But in the standard configuration, you're looking about 350 pounds of downforce at speed. But this is the 2023 Corvette Z06. Going on sale in the summertime. We don't have pricing announced yet, so unfortunately I don't have a number there. If you have any questions, I'll stick around, we'll hang out, we'll talk cars. Anything I don't say is because I'm not allowed to. And we also have that cutaway of the engine. There's a lot of racing bits in there. My favorite actually is the bottom end. So if you don't know, flat plane crank V8 is not as smooth as our normal V8s. That's why we really didn't do it in the past. So there's vibrations, and we have to deal with those vibrations. So that whole block transmission, everything is reinforced. So if you look at the bottom end, you're like, wait a minute, there's no oil pan. Huh? How's that happen? Well, it's actually a full one-piece system. We don't have separate main bearing caps or anything. It's all just one-piece girdle bolted right through. And that's really funky. And then on the other side, you can see 3 of the 6 dry sump scavenging pumps that we have on the engine. But that's beyond. If you want any information on our Corvettes, be sure to speak to myself or anyone else that's around for my compatriots. We can send you information electronically. We don't have brochures or anything physical, but we can send information electronically to your email. So thanks again for hanging out. I'm going to turn the lights back on, and we'll pop this open if you guys want to see the engine covered, because that's most of what you can see. But at least it gives you an idea of the configuration, and you can see the storage area in the front. Front. I could open that too. and then the golf storage areas in the back.
What they're going to start at.
Oh, I can't say anything. Secret. Yeah, I don't know that answer. This one's silver flare metallic. Silver flare metallic is the same. You just have to remember silver. This is a 3LV. So I think with like the full red superior.
Of a carbon looks stunning on those wheels. The front lip carbon, wheels are carbon, top mirrors, top of the side mirrors. Waiting for that interior. Lots of carbon inside.
Yeah, down here.